on, everyone? So yesterday the Lakers took a tough loss to the Miami Heat, right? Losing by 1 point in a game that really felt like the Lakers should have won. They should have capitalized. They had several opportunities to win that game and just couldn't pull it out. So now they fall to 3-4 on the season. Now, it's not so much that they fell to 3-4. It's the games in which they won and the games in which they lost. And I don't necessarily mean that by the teams, right? So the Lakers' 3 wins were at home in LA, which is great, right? You want to win the home games. You need to win at home. You need to protect home court. That's important for any team, right? But the 4 losses are now all to teams on the road. The Lakers are 0-4 on the road. That is where the problem lies, because you're not winning an NBA championship if you can't win road games. Look at the Lakers last year. Now, they didn't win the NBA championship, but they made it to the Western Conference Finals. How did they do that? By winning on the road, right? They won games on the road, and they were able to get to the NBA or the Western Conference Finals. The Denver Nuggets got and ended up winning the NBA championship. How did they do that? Winning on the road. Miami, how did they get as a play-in team all the way to the NBA Finals? They won on the road. As soon as the Lakers couldn't win on the road, guess what? They got eliminated. And they got swept to the Denver Nuggets, right? Team like the Warriors is a great example last year. The Warriors all season long struggled to win on the road. They couldn't capitalize on the road. They get to the playoffs, right? They did win some road games against Sacramento, but then they got to the Lakers and they couldn't win on the road. And the Lakers won all their home games, won a couple on the road, and guess what? Lakers advance and go on to the final round, right? Or the conference finals, right? So this is not a major issue yet. It's not hit the panic button. Lakers cannot win on the road yet. But the last thing you need to do is make this a trend to where you can't win on the road. Lakers still have plenty more road games ahead. Their next 2 games are continued on the road. So the Lakers got the Houston Rockets on the road, which they just blew out Sacramento, and they're going to be trying to win at home. Then you have the Phoenix Suns, who you beat in LA, who are going to want revenge on the road or at their home, right? Then you get a nice little 3-game homestand, but then you're right back on the road, another 3-game homestand, and then you got 4 straight games on the road to close out the month, right? So that means in the rest of this month, they have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games on the road in this month. You lose all 7 of those games, you're in trouble, because now you go 7-6. At the end of the month, at best case scenario, you're at 500. And that's assuming you win every home game, right? You got teams like Sacramento coming in to your home. You got Dallas who's coming into your home, right? Like, those are teams that are going to be tough, even at home. Lakers need to find a way to win on the road. They lost to Miami at home. They lost to Denver, right? Now, this is something that, you could chalk up to a couple ways, right? Like, when you play at home, your role players, guys in general, usually pick it up, right? They play better. There's more energy. The crowd's into it, right? You feel like you got the support of your home crowd. Where you go on the road, it's the opposite of that, right? A lot of times guys struggle, but beyond that, you also have the lack of chemistry that the Lakers have, to where they aren't as, naturally together as like a Denver, right? Or you also have 5 guys injured at any point in time so far this season. You get Taurean Prince, you lose Jackson Hayes, you lose Anthony Davis in the Miami game. Like, all of these things are all factors into very likely them not being as successful on the road. But you got to figure out the formula here, right? Hopefully Houston is that first game in which, okay, you kind of right the ship. It would be nice if the Lakers could go and win these next two road games, go win in Houston, go win in Phoenix. Now, it's tough, but I mean, I would be happy with just the Rockets home road win, right? Get that one road win and then kind of take that in stride and build on that, because it is still early in the season, right? They've played 4 road games, right? Like, you're going to lose road games. You're going to lose home games. It happens. No team goes undefeated at home. No team goes undefeated on the road. But at some point, to be considered a good team, you got to close some of these games out, right? Like the Miami game yesterday is a game that absolutely should have been closed out. Same thing with the Kings. We played Sacramento on the road. That game shouldn't have went in overtime. We should have won that game. That was a game that was very winnable, that we should have closed out. That's 2 games in which we were on the road and we had an opportunity to close out and get the W, and we failed to do so. You gotta do those things. You gotta close out the games. You can't be constantly sitting behind the 8 ball. A lot of it is when we go on the road, I mean, even at home, right? It's just kind of been the trend this year. We're getting so far behind, but especially on the road, we're digging ourselves these trenches to where, like, now we got to scratch and claw and try to dig our way out. It's not a formula for success. Because again, more times than not, when you go down double digits, which the Lakers have been down double digits pretty much every game, if not every game this year. And so when you go down double digits and now you got to like scratch and claw and try to dig your way out, you're not going to have the success that you need on a regular basis. And you're not going to win those road games. When you go into a home or another team's home stadium, you usually go in there and you try to set the tone. You try to come out and establish yourself early, put some doubt in the crowd, put some doubt in the home team, right? Get going early, scratch, claw, work hard, do the things necessary in order to try to close out a win. The Lakers are not doing those things, right? The Lakers are getting into these home games and they dig themselves a hole, but they're at home. So the energy is still there, right? When they go on a run, the crowd's super explosive and, you know, everybody's kind of like, okay, we can do this. Let's get out of it. But then you go on the road and you don't have that same reflection of energy. You know, when you go to pick up the energy and you go to try to go and make a push, right? Teams, their crowds aren't on your side. They want to see you blow this, right? They want, like, even if you get a lead, they want to see you fold, right? And then a team goes on a run and it's like they get more energy and then they get more. Like, the Lakers have to stop falling behind, especially on the road. The Lakers need to stop falling behind, period. Right? That's a big point of concern regardless. But especially on the road, you have to make sure you're doing what you need to do. And a lot of it's just simple basketball stuff. Rebounding, right? Hitting open shots, taking care of the basketball, and not turning the ball over, right? Like, these are all things that are just, they're basics. And the Lakers are failing to do it. And you saw a game like the Orlando Magic, right? Where they just out-hustled and just performed. And it's like, anytime we tried to go on a run, you just didn't have the energy. The Magic would make a play. The crowd's into it. It's explosive. It's exciting, right? They want to beat LA, right? Like, you're the Lakers. Every team wants you to come into their stadium so they can go and smack you. And if you don't match that energy and you don't show up with that energy, all of a sudden you're on a 2-game losing streak. And instead of being, you know, and creating some distance in the over 500 category, you're now behind 500. And now you got 2 more road games against the Rockets and the Suns, to which all of a sudden, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're 3 games under 500 now. And now you desperately have to win your 3 home games, because if you don't, now all of a sudden you're 4, 5, 6 games. and now it's just last season all over again. Best case scenario, you win your 3 home games, which is great. Again, you want to win the home games, but now you're just at 500 rather than getting ahead to where, okay, you beat the Rockets. Now you're at 500. If you can go, let's say you lose to the Suns. Okay, now you're down a game, right? But you go win your 3 home games. Now all of a sudden you're 2 games over 500. And then you go into Portland. If you can beat Portland because you've proven finally and you've gotten that monkey off your back that you can win on the road. Now you're 3 games. Then you got Houston again. Now you're 4 games. Now you got the Rockets at home. 5 games. Mavericks, 6 games. Then you got a tough stretch against the Cavs, the Sixers, and the Pistons, who have been pretty nice. And then the Thunder. You got a 4-game road trip against 4 teams that are capable of beating you. You need to start establishing these early habits of winning on the road. So when you do have these tough home or road stances, you can come out and be ahead. Lakers have multiple 3-4 game home stances. I mean, even to start December, you have like 1 game at home against the Rockets again. Then you have Dallas, San Antonio, and San Antonio all on the road. Then you go to the Knicks, or you're at home against the Knicks. Then you got the Bulls, the Timberwolves, and the Thunder all on the road. 2 home games, 2 road games. I mean, you want to talk about like a balance of home and road games. They don't have like a real solid homestand until January, in which they have 9 of the first 10 games in January are at home, right? You want to get into that point to where you are over, 5, 6, 7, 8 games over 500 because you've won all these road games. And now you got this homestand, and you got, Miami, the Grizzlies, the Clippers, the Raptors, the Suns. Then you got the Thunder, the Mavericks, the Nets, and the Blazers. You go win, 7 of those 9 home games, and all of a sudden you're 11, 12 games over 5. You're probably the number 1, 2, or 3 seed. That's how the Lakers need to be. But it starts with winning games on the road. Losing to the Miami Heat, the Orlando Magic, the Denver Nuggets, the Sacramento Kings, right? Like, don't get me wrong, they're all solid teams, but like, you gotta find ways to win these games, especially like the Sacramento game. The Magic game, okay, that was just a bad game, tough loss. You write that off and you bounce back. This was the game that I was hoping the Lakers would bounce back on in the Heat. You took a just embarrassing loss. You go in, you have a very winnable game, and you drop the ball. Like, that's what's so disappointing, right? And it's like even the same thing with Sacramento, right? You got Sacramento, you're coming off of a great Suns win, right? You go and play the Kings on the road. You're in that game. You have an opportunity to win it, and you drop the ball, and you let Sacramento go and just run away with it in overtime in a game that you should have won. They got to find ways to close out and win these games, and they got to find ways to win on the road. Otherwise, it's going to be a long, rough season. But I have faith in the Lakers. I believe that they will do it. But as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you agree? Do you think, Lakers will do it? They'll right the ship? Do you think, no, they're in trouble? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you.